What's up guys, I'm Newbie Dave and today we're finishing our raid farm. Let's get started. What's going on everybody? We've got a lot of work ahead of us today, so I'm just going to jump right into it. First of all, last time we built this kill chamber for the bottom of our raid farm. There used to be an illager outpost here, but we stripped the whole thing down because, as it turns out, all that really matters is that one block where the illagers spawn. So the illagers will spawn inside of this kill chamber, they'll fall down, they'll die. Occasionally one of those illagers will be a raid captain with a banner, and when you kill him you'll get the bad omen effect, which will trigger the raid. In between episodes, I did some more experimenting with this, and I noticed there were no raid captains spawning. I thought that was kind of odd when we built this thing, that all of the illagers that spawned weren't banner carriers. They weren't the raid captains that give you the bad omen effect. And so I did a little bit more playing around with it, and it turns out there was an original illager from the outpost, like part of the original gang, that was still alive. He was on the other side of that hill right there. He's on the outside of the mountain. I don't know why that prevented raid captains from spawning, but as soon as I killed him, then I was able to get some raid captains. So if you're having problems with this, maybe do a little recon and check the area around and see if some of the original illagers from the outpost are still alive. Alright, so for the rest of this farm, we're going to build this directly above this kill chamber, and it needs to be kind of high up because the raids are going to be spawning up there. And we need to get this thing above any spawnable blocks on the ground. Now, you may notice that we have a slight problem with that because we're surrounded by mountains. And so the ground isn't necessarily just down here. The ground is also way up there and way up there. So we need to get this thing above the mountains, which is kind of the only problem with this particular illager outpost, with its location being in the mountains, is the mountains, they kind of complicate building this thing. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to build some scaffolding. I'm going to kind of align it with the kill chamber. So I am, let's see, 1, 2, 3 blocks, nope, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, I guess technically 5 blocks from this side of the kill chamber, and I'm aligned with the southern edge of it. This will just help me know where is directly above it when I get up high. I don't think it matters that you're directly aligned with the bottom kill chamber. They just need to be kind of close together, but not too close. We need this to be at least 24 blocks above the bottom kill chamber in order for the pillagers to spawn down there. Yeah, there, you can see we've got a raid captain already. You can kind of make out the banner on his back. So yeah, if we're too close to the kill chamber down there, we won't get the illager spawns to trigger this thing. And if we're too far away, then we also won't get the illager spawns. There's kind of a Goldilocks zone where we need to build this. So I'm going to come up to, let's see, I'll come up to 221. Yeah, this looks like it's above all the mountains. And let me get my shulker boxes out. So I'm going to kind of mosey on over here this way. And let's see. Yeah, I think this is directly over the wall of the kill chamber. So I'm going to start right here. And I'm first going to put down a platform of obsidian. This is completely optional. You don't need to do obsidian or any other block type on the bottom of this thing. The reason I'm doing this is because this is going to get covered in leaves. And leaves, they break very easily. And we're kind of high up, and so I don't want to accidentally break the leaves at some point in the future and go crashing down to the ground. I figure having a solid, very durable platform underneath where I'm going to be building will just help keep me safe. And then, like I said, we're going to put a stack of leaves on top of this thing. The leaves are to prevent raid spawns in the kill chamber. We want the raid to spawn only up in the, I'll call it the spawn box, the area where we actually want them to spawn. Let me tell you, raids, they can spawn anywhere. They can spawn on slabs, they can spawn on glass, on fences, and leaves are one of the very few block types that they cannot spawn on. That's why you see so many leaves in these raid farms. Now up here, we're just going to build the exact same sort of kill chamber that we built down below. We're going to do 4 pistons with redstone torches and observers, exactly like the one that we did last episode. This is just, it's your classic trident killer. Super easy to build, super easy to use. And then I will go ahead and throw the trident in there right now. And we'll get a lever to throw on this side. This is where we're going to stand to turn this thing on and off. So I'll go ahead and flick it on and then off just to test it, make sure that trident's getting pushed around good, and then I said on and off. This is one of those things where when the lever's on, this thing is technically off, and when the lever's off, then it runs and it's on. It's kind of weird. All right, next we are going to get the beginnings of a structure built up around this thing. I'm going to do the same sort of thing that I did down below with the bottom kill chamber, where I do bricks or stone of some sort in the corners and then glass in the middle. But actually we need the bottom row or two of this to be solid bricks. And the reason for that is some of the mobs that will spawn in this raid are Ravagers, and Ravagers are huge. And while testing this, even though most of the Ravagers should die up in the spawn box, every now and then one of them can manage to slip down into the kill chamber. And if they do that, they can actually get pushed out of the kill chamber. Like the pistons can push them through the wall. And if they get outside this thing, your whole day is ruined. And I don't just mean you might die, you will die, and they will also probably destroy a large part of your farm. So we want to keep those bad boys locked inside the kill chamber. For the same reason, I'm also going to do a row of blocks, one row outside of this thing all the way around. And even on the front here, I'm going to come over right here. We got to leave this block open so we can turn it on and off. But everywhere else, I'm going to do one more row of bricks going around, and it's going to be 2 blocks tall. And with that in mind, I think I'm going to extend our little leaf platform here because we're running out of space. It's getting really tight up here. And then to finish up this bottom part, we're going to cover this whole outside layer with leaves just to make sure that we don't get any raid spawns down here at the bottom. We want them all to spawn up top in the spawn box. Now we can bring the rest of this structure all the way up. And we want to go up high enough that the raids spawn way up there and not anywhere near the ground or anywhere near these mountains. But we can't go up too high because we don't want the mobs to die when they fall. We want them to take a lot of damage so that they're mostly dead, but not all dead. So I'm gonna go up, let's see, we've already gone up 2 blocks from the pistons here. So I'm gonna go up another 17. So 1, 2, 3, and 18. Yeah, 18 will put us 20 blocks above the bottom, which should be good. I think most mobs can fall like 22 blocks before they die, so this should be good. So as I said, I will do bricks for the corners here, and then I'm going to do glass in between, just so it looks really nice. We could just do bricks for the whole thing. You could do leaves for the whole thing, I think. I've been building a lot of tall structures this season, I just realized. I've got my gliding platform over there. I've got this raid farm, I've got my cactus farm, which was really tall. That's interesting. So just to add a little bit more flair to this thing, I put some sea lanterns on the very bottom row of bricks. I think it's going to look really nice, especially when at night, this whole thing is going to be kind of lit up with sea lanterns. Alright, and then up here at the very top, what we need to do now is we need to build out in 7 blocks in 2 directions. So my base is over there, that's west, that's north. I'm arbitrarily picking south and east to do this. It doesn't matter which directions you go, you just need it to be built out on 2 of the sides. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and for 7. I'm also going to use another sea lantern. I want the corners of this to be sea lanterns. I think that'll look really nice. And on this side, we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sea lantern. All right, now we're going to connect these 2 sides to create a big platform up here. And once we've got them all connected, then we'll just fill this whole thing in with solid blocks. You should use non-flammable blocks. You don't want to use wood or leaves or anything like that for this upper part, especially not leaves since they will block spawns, and this is exactly where we want the mobs to spawn. Alright, so we should have something that looks like this now, and it is snowing. So for these 2 sidewalls that are on the opposite corners, opposite sides of our kill chamber, we need to put in some stairs. We're eventually going to waterlog these things, and the stairs are going to help us to do that. I'm going to use these prismarine bricks. I think the prismarine is really beautiful. I haven't really used it much in many builds. I've got the sea lanterns going, and I think the alternating green and gray is going to look really, really nice. So we'll take some of these, we'll cut some bricks, and we're going to come over here, we'll skip the corner, I'll just put a brick in the corner, and all along the wall here, we'll do some prismarine bricks. But when we get to this corner, we're going to skip both the corner and the block next to the corner, and then we'll do the same thing on this side. Now coming back over to the 2 blocks that we skipped, we're going to put some stairs on top of those. The reason we're doing it that way is if we did stairs all the way into the corner and then we waterlog these 2 in the corner would like connect and the whole thing would fill in with water sources, which is not what we want happening. It's getting dark. It might be time to sleep. Oh good, I've got my bed on me. I thought I left my bed down there. Alright, so for these other 2 walls, I'm also going to do these in prismarine just so it kind of matches all the way around from the outside. You should just see the flat prismarine blocks. And then on top of this row of prismarine, we're going to do another row of just the stone brick blocks all the way around. Alright, at this point we need to make each wall 6 blocks tall. And so I'm just going to alternate prismarine and stone bricks. I think that's going to make a really nice pattern, especially from the outside. So we should have something that looks like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows tall all the way around. When I was prototyping this, I thought maybe I could get away with just having these 2 walls 6 blocks tall and not necessarily the rest of them. But I ran into some situations where the leaves on top of these side walls that weren't quite as tall would sometimes go missing, and I think it may have been the Ravagers. Ravagers can destroy leaves, and so I think it's safest to just go all the way up to 6 all the way around. I tried to do that to save resources, but I mean, let's be honest, making this tiny structure 6 blocks tall, it's not going to break the bank. So to finish the walls off, we need to top them off with leaves so that none of the raids spawn on the walls, they should all spawn on the inside. So we should have something that looks like this now. Alright, so coming back over to the kill chamber, we're going to go up 1, 2, 3 rows and we're going to put down some signs. What we're going to do is on this first row, we'll do 4 signs. On the second row, we'll do 3 signs. And then 2 signs on the third row and 1 sign on the last. Yep, there we go. Now we're going to come into the corner above these signs, being very careful not to fall down into the kill chamber, and place a bucket of lava in the corner. That should spread out to the very edge of the signs and stop, just because that's how far lava spreads in the overworld. So the lava will take care of the Ravagers, and everything else that is smaller than 3 blocks should fall down into the kill chamber and get crushed by the trident. Last thing to do up here is to fill in, to waterlog all these stairs. To do this, we need to make an infinite water source, but we kind of got to be careful because we're up high enough where water can freeze. So I'm going to start by just creating a little roof right there, and then I'll create a basin right here. And I need 1 more block. You know, I'll just use my shulker. Shulker should keep the water in. And we'll create an infinite water source and now go back and waterlog all of these stairs in the wall. As you're doing this, don't forget the 2 stairs in the corner that are up 1 row. And with that, I believe we are done up here. So we can fill in our water source and break all of these bricks and somehow get out of here. You'll notice the water stops right at the edge of the kill chamber because of how far back we put it, so we don't have to worry about using signs or something to keep the water from flowing down into the kill chamber. So yeah, we're done up here. This is the spawn box. This is where the raids will spawn, and then all the mobs will get pushed into the kill chamber where we can kill them and collect their loot. So we are almost done with this. Right now we need to come down below it and put in the item collection system. Whoa, okay, yes, we're good. Okay, so first we need to find one of the blocks under our kill chamber. I think I want to do this one, or at least one on this side. So look at my coordinates, that's 1895 and 440. Easy to remember. So I'm going to come down below this, and I'm going to come down quite a ways. So the actual kill chamber floor looks like it's on 222, so I'll come down maybe to 215. You can come down as far as you want. You can make the item collection area as far below as you want, and the more space you make it, the more room that you're going to have for chests to put in the collection system. So we're going to do something very similar. We're going to build a little platform out of leaves here, and it doesn't technically have to be the exact same size as the platform above it. I think it probably helps just to, visually it's going to look the same, and you kind of have an idea of how much room you have to work with if you do. And this time I'm not going to bother with the obsidian underneath the leaves. It wasn't even really necessary up there, so I'm not going to bother with it. So I'm going to come directly below the block within the kill chamber that I had identified. I'm at 1895, 440. I'm going to put a temporary block right there. And as I look at this, that's actually not a whole lot of space. I'm going to move this down a little bit because we're going to need a lot of chests. That's a little better, gives us a little bit more room to work with here. So I'm going to do some scaffolding, which I can't do on leaves. I keep forgetting that. So we'll do a little bit of scaffolding to come up here. And so right below that temporary block, we're going to place a hopper. And then we can break the temporary block, and on top of it, we'll put a rail, and on top of that, a hopper with a minecart. So the hopper with the minecart will pull out the items from the kill chamber above it. Oh, I just realized that's not going to work because the obsidian is, there's two levels. There's the grass and then the obsidian. So this all needs to get moved up one. There we go. That's what I was after. So hopper with minecart directly below the kill chamber, going into a hopper below that. Now I can replace this obsidian, and that actually helps because all the blocks around it are going to keep that hopper minecart in place and not have it move around. So now coming directly below that hopper, I'm going to put in a double chest like that. And then we're going to do just some alternating double chests going back and forth all the way down like this. And I like to do them one on top of the other, where they kind of share a column as they go down. I think it takes up less space and you can get more chests in this way. And then we're going to come back up and we're going to do a hopper that goes from the chest above into each chest below it like this. There we go. So when you're done, you should have something that looks like this, except without that hopper because that one was not necessary. So the hopper on top goes into the top chest, and then there's a hopper that flows into each chest below that. We can test this out. I'll test it with putting something in the hopper. I'll throw my map in there, and we should find this thing comes out all the way down here at the bottom. Now, guess what illagers can spawn on? That's right, they can spawn on chests. So we need to come back up here when we're done and put leaves on top of any exposed chests or hoppers like that. And that'll just prevent any of the raid spawns from spawning down here on our collection system. So that takes care of the item collection system, but now we need a way to get down to it because this scaffolding, this is just temporary while I'm building this thing. I'm not going to leave it there. I want a nice way to get up and down. So what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come over here. I'm gonna knock out this block right here. And I'm going to put in a ladder that goes down from here to the bottom. I'll cover this in grass. And I can drop down here. And we'll just build a little column of stone like this. And then we'll slap some ladders onto this. And so this will make it very easy to get up and down to the item collection system without having to leave the farm. I think I'm also going to cover that in leaves. I don't remember if the raids can spawn on ladders or not, but I'm not going to take the chance. Now this is a bit precarious. Maybe I'm going to extend this by one more row just to kind of save myself from accidentally falling off. And finally, last thing we need to do is we need to get a villager in here. We need to get a villager so that the game sees this as a village so that when we get the bad omen effect, it will actually trigger a raid. So I'm going to come up on top of this little wall at the bottom of the kill chamber, and I'm going to go up 8 more blocks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Place another block there. And we're going to put a bed on these 2 blocks. And at this point, we can go ahead and break all of the blocks that we use to get up here. But now we need to surround this bed in leaves. This is where our villager is going to live. And you guessed it, raids can spawn on beds. So once we get the villager in here, we're going to have to raid proof this thing to make sure that the raids don't spawn inside of here. But for now, we need to leave it open so we can get a villager in here. The way I'm going to do this is the way that I always like to move villagers around, and that's with nether portals. So I'm going to build a little platform over here. I'm going to light this up, but I'm not going to go through it just yet because this is actually going to link to the nether portal that's under my base. It's close enough that those two will link, but I do need to go find a villager and bring him through this nether portal. And actually, I'm going to break this really fast. I want to build like a little backstop behind it, just so that when I come through, I don't actually accidentally go the wrong way and fall off the end of the world here. So we'll do that. And then light this back up. That way, this portal's only one way now. Okay, village. If I look at my map, when I recently had to go find a new stronghold, it turns out there was a village just south of my base that had a stronghold below it, and I marked that with a map so you can see the little green arrow on my map. So that's where I'm going to go. That is the closest village to where I'm at right now. And there should be, we just need one villager. So hopefully there's a villager within that village that we can borrow, and adopt. Let's say adopt. That's a much nicer word. Okay, here we are. Are there any villagers here? Oh no, I'm not seeing any villagers. Hopefully this isn't one of those abandoned villages. Not abandoned in the sense that there's like zombies and cobwebs and all that, but sometimes you get villages that just don't have villagers in them. We just need one. Are there any villagers? Oh, hello. Okay, we found one. Cool. So, get my boat. I'm going to place a nether portal right here in front of him, and we'll push him into the boat and move this into the nether portal. This is the easiest way to transport villagers. Don't worry about minecarts, don't worry about carrying them across the ocean. Just push them into the nether. And can you imagine trying to build a rail system to get even just from the bottom of the raid farm up to where the villager needs to go? No. We're just going to build a nether portal, push them through, and we've got them where we need them. And oh so carefully oh, it's daytime. That's okay. We'll push him into his new little home. We'll trap him there, and then we'll just have to come back up here at nighttime to finish the job. That sounds sinister, to finish construction on this part of the project. All right, it's almost nighttime. While I wait for the sun, I'm going to go ahead and break down this nether portal. You might be thinking, well, nether portal will be a great way to get back and forth between this farm, except, yeah, you guessed it, you guys are catching on. Raids can spawn on top of obsidian, and even if you put leaves on top of this thing, they could spawn on the bottom of the portal, and there's no way to spawn proof that. So we just need to get rid of this nether portal and find some other way to get up and down here. All right, our villager is sleeping, so now that he is asleep, we're going to place blocks right here and here of grass, and when he wakes up, you can see that his head is actually trapped in the grass block. That's okay, it is a transparent block, and so he can breathe, he's not going to suffocate, but having the grass there will prevent the rays from spawning on the bed. If you put the grass any higher, the rays could spawn on the bed, and you're going to have a bad day. So with that, I think we are done. I'm going to do one more fly around just to kind of check this thing from all sides and make sure I didn't leave any exposed blocks that raids could spawn on. Everything's looking good so far. Oh, I've got this little tower of blocks that I used to build up to the villager. I'll get rid of all of those. Everything on this side is looking good. We'll check down below here. I've got a random block here that is holding up some scaffolding. Let me just go ahead and break that so I don't forget about it. Everything in the item collection system is looking good. We've got leaves up on top of our chests. We don't have anything else that's sticking out that they could spawn on. And up here, everything is looking good. Everything's covered in leaves. So I think it's time to turn this thing on, see if it works. Now, one final note before turning this on, we had to put a bed up there for the villager. Do not have any other beds anywhere near this thing, at least for like 100 blocks or so. You don't want any other beds linking to this village that the game recognizes, or else you could end up with some raid spawns outside of the farm. So we're gonna jump down here to the bottom trident killer, and we'll turn this thing on. I think I'm going to go ahead and cover this. I left it open because I don't really care, but I don't want to accidentally fall down there or like have things drop into it. So I'm just going to go ahead and cover this with leaves really fast. Also, so I don't get shot at. Now, most raid farms that you'll look up, you're going to have to cover the ground and everything below the farm with leaves as well. Because this one is built so high up, that shouldn't be a problem. So the fact that I'm using leaves for this is really kind of arbitrary. You don't really have to do that for the raid spawns. All right, so we're going to turn on our trident killer. These guys should all get taken care of. None of them were the raid captains, so we're not going to get the bad omen, but now raid captains can spawn. So we'll head back up to the top of this thing. And I should probably break down my scaffolding first. I'm pretty sure that raids could spawn on that. I think at some point, I said I wasn't going to do an item collection system for this bottom trident killer because I don't care about their loot. I might go ahead and put one in at some point Not because I care about the loot, but just for the sake of performance, for lag. If all these guys die and all their items just stay there on the ground, that can add to the that can add to the lag on the world and make it slow down. So I might put in a collection system just to keep things running smoothly. There we go. We got the Bad Omen, which kicked off a raid. I think just for safety purposes, I'm going to kind of separate myself from this farm just in case illagers do spawn outside of the kill box up there. There we go. We got some that dropped down. And I guess I do need to be over there to turn this thing on. So I'll turn on the Trident Killer. And off they go. There's wave number 2 spawning and dying. So I'm going to let this run for a little while. I'm not going to go AFK just yet because I want to make sure that everything is spawn proof and the waves will only spawn in the spawn box up there. If any of them happen to spawn outside and I'm AFK, I'm going to have a really, really bad day. So if you build this farm, I do suggest you just kind of keep an eye on it for the first couple times that you run it. And not go AFK until you're absolutely certain that you've built it correctly and it is safe to use. Oh boy, that was a Newbie Dave moment. I built my bridge out so that if the raid spawned outside the farm, then I would be safe. And my bridge created a spawn point for the raids. So Newbie Dave. Let me kill these guys and fix that. Alright, I just survived 4 or 5 raids and didn't really have any incidents, so I think this is working. Now I do want to caveat that by saying there were a few little surprises. You may notice I swapped out the slab with an upside down stair. That's because I did get attacked a few times by, I don't know if they're the Vindicators or what, the guys that can like send the magical teeth out of the ground at you. I don't know how else to describe it. Apparently they could see me and they could attack me because it's a ranged attack, and that was kind of scary. So hopefully that kind of minimizes your visibility there. But other than that, didn't have any spawns outside the farm, so I think we're good. Let's go down and take a look at the loot that we got. Holy loot. Wow. That is amazing. So we got tons and tons of emeralds, got a lot of enchanted iron gear, a lot of crossbows, totems of undying. That is very, very useful. A second full chest of all this junk and a little bit into the third chest. So that's really, really good. Unfortunately, for me, most of this is junk. I don't care about the iron tools, don't care about the crossbows. You'll get a little bit of redstone and sugar, but I can get tons of that elsewhere. I really just care about the emeralds and the totems of undying. And you can also get gunpowder. It doesn't look like I've got any gunpowder. Okay, I've got a little bit of gunpowder in some of the hoppers. So I think at some point I'll probably come in and put in a little sort of auto sorter to sort of filter out the things that I care about. And then maybe, I guess enchanted books. Yeah, you can get some good enchanted books. Feather Falling 4 is really nice. Luck of the Sea. Yeah, I was going to say maybe I just kind of trash everything else automatically, but I don't know. I might want to keep some of those enchanted books. But all in all, I think we can say that this farm is working. So last thing, and then we can wrap it up. I'm going to head back to my base, go out to my gliding platform, and then fly over there because I want to see how this thing looks from a distance. As I said at the beginning, I'm not really crazy about raid farms, especially how they look, and I don't like to build things that are ugly. I like to build things that look nice. I value form as much as I value function, so hopefully we achieve that and we've got something that looks good both from a distance and as you're using it. So we'll come up here. You know, that's not too bad. I can live with that. It looks kind of cool. It really helps, I think, to not have the illager outpost right below it and to not have like a column of leaves to get up and down to the thing. To just have that giant platform kind of hanging up in the air like that, I think is actually pretty cool. So that is going to wrap things up for today. Thank you all so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Hope you're able to get this build working. Just be very, very careful as you're building it to make sure that you've got everything up here spawn-proofed, or else you're going to have a really, really bad day. So thanks guys. If you enjoyed this episode, please hit that like button, and while you're down there, feel free to subscribe so you'll get notified of future episodes as they come out. Thanks and have a great day.